Okay, people. So this video was interrupted. I've been having issues with the internet, intermittent internet. Um, that is not an accident, but whatever. It is what it is. I've had enough evidence. I have enough evidence to know that there is something going on, which I'm explaining in book 5. Okay, so where were we? We're talking about why men get on one knee to propose. Okay, so what I'm probably going to do is combine the first part. If are any more interruptions, then I will just combine all the parts into one big video, or simply just put out the different parts of the video. So I don't remember exactly where I was. Progressive relationships. Dad's permission. Okay. It can be surprisingly difficult to outrun expectations around. Read that again. It can be surprisingly difficult to outrun expectations around the cost of the ring, getting dad's permission, or ensuring a surprise. Ensuring surprise. Difficult to ensure surprise when you are the woman who wants to be in charge of being asked to get married. So much about the world has changed since women were first marked as their future husband's property to be. Yeah. Yet engagement has done little to catch up. The most obvious anti-feminist aspect of getting engaged is the ring itself. Anti-feminist. Okay. More than 80% of engagement include a diamond ring, though more and more women are coming out, as opposed to everything it symbolizes. Actually, we will look at how this whole modern getting on one knees proposal started. I didn't see the rush in getting married at all. I already felt like Chris was my partner. Okay, so obviously this is a woman talking, right? Yes, was my partner, and I knew I wanted to spend my life with them. Okay. I needed a reason beyond we love each other, so why not? Last February, I got one. I realized from our daily phone calls that my grandma wasn't quite as sharp as she once had been. I doubt that. I knew something was off, and I wanted her to experience my engagement while she was her fullest possible self. I knew I wanted a ring, but it seemed weird for Chris to pick it out without me. Why? Somebody's giving you a gift, and you have to tell the person you have to be in control of that gift. What the hell? We had discussed our engagement at length. The guy's role here should be, let me know my lady, let me know my woman, so that I can give the best possible pleasing gift. Not let me be dictated by my partner to give a gift. This is illogical at best. So sending my best friend out with style, size, and cut specifications seemed like a lot of unnecessary pageantry. So Chris and I planned a trip to the Catbird Wedding Annex. We looked at rings together, and I agreed he could plan the actual proposal part, and I agreed. He asked me to marry him a few days later. This is bullshit. We waited a few days before, again, this is impromptu, so I'm reading this and I'm just going through the article as we speak, or as I speak. It says the fact that I picked out the ring and let Chris plan the asking part, a surprise made for its own mixed bag of irrational chivalry. Yes, irrational. What else was I supposed to do? Is a response a wide spectrum of possible tradition evading options? Yes, evading options. There are a few ways to get engaged that aren't offensive to anybody. During our trip to Catbird, the saleswoman told us that about 50% of straight couples come in together to pick out the ring. while the other half of men arrive alone and plan the entire thing as a surprise. Good for the other half as a surprise. Most women are definitely part of the prop. All right, this is nonsense. Uh, all right, let's take a look at something else here. The history of getting on one knee. I'm going to look at a little bit of the history here. Proposing on one knee FAQs. What if you don't want a bended knee proposal? Okay, listen to this. Wait, the history. That's not what I wanted to. Is that okay? Well, all right. Well, this is not quite the history, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So this is proposing on one knee FAQs. What if you don't want a bended knee proposal? Elena of Ohio asked her husband not to propose. I think I'm a bit of a Scrooge, but I really just don't like proposals at all, Elena admits. Working on a nursing staff of a hospital, Elena says she has often heard women coworkers express sentiments such as, I told him if he doesn't put a ring on it by the end of this year, I'm leaving, or when going on a vacation. I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to propose. Elena has observed women withstand months or years of waiting for their partner. This thing's still recording. Stop presenting. Oh, it looks like it's still recording. Okay, let's see. All right, okay. It looks like it's still presenting. Let's see. We'll find out later what element. Let's see. Where are we? So last thing I was reading, she asked, why is it his decision? Why does this need to happen for a relationship to progress? Uh, why is it his decision to propose? Because he's asking her to marry him. Why would it be her decision to accept it or not to accept? Because it is her decision to want to be with him. What's the problem here? Are Ben and Nee proposals worth all the hype? Amy Shack Agan, a wedding planner, a modern rebel. Modern rebel. Oh my god. Seriously, that just says more nonsense. Feminism. Uh, by the way, before I continue, no, actually, I'll save that for later. So this woman says women grow up learning that a wedding will be the best day of their lives, and when combined with the norm that only men propose, it can translate to that big change in your life that we've told you is the most important thing. You have no agency over when it happens. This is twisted logic. Okay, so let's all right, at this point, let's do this. Because I thought I had the. Now I know I have it somewhere. All right, seem to have lost the page that I was looking at earlier. Okay, so let's just do it now. All right, let's take a look at a bit of the history of why men get on one knee to propose. Okay, on the screen, as you can see, I just typed in getting on one knee to propose. The gesture of getting down on one knee while proposing has been connected to prayer, it says. Submission, deference, and respect, among other things. All right, so submission, deference, and respect. All right, so let's focus on the word submission here. You've seen a lot of new channels coming out on YouTube and other platforms talking about women saying something defective. Women should be submissive in relationships. And my last channel that was shut down, my main channel, said that although a lot of these new channels are saying a lot of things that are true, that you should be cautious of it at the whole. Well, you should be cautious of the fact that this is control opposition, divide and conquer strategy. Because, well, women don't seem to be what they are, and men don't seem to be what they are, and this controlled, I'll say, simulated universe. The word that I really prefer is game. Most public people, if not all of them, are not really what they seem. If you think you're seeing a man, you're really seeing a woman. It's just surgical manipulation and taking hormones. So basically, the history goes back to submission. And submission is the same thing as obeying. If you've watched people like David Icke, obey is a synonymous with submission. So basically, what you're being asked to do is to give your will over completely, despite it being irrational. So when these new platforms, such as Kevin Samuels, what they're asking the woman to do is to obey, submit, despite it being irrational, so that they can conquer, the elites can conquer people who actually see the trap in it. So where does this whole tradition come from? Well, let's look at the screen here. Getting down on one knee to propose is actually a medieval tradition, of course. There are some unusual wedding traditions out there that we stick to without even thinking. Ever wondered why the bride stands on the left, turns the dates all the way back to the days of marriage by capture, with the knot writing, the groom needed to leave his right hand, aka his fighting hand, which he used to hold the sword, free in the event that he need to defend his bride. Okay, there's something here that I saw. I don't know, I lost the page. Basically, it says something to the fact of, there we go. Knights will get down on one knee in front of their lord, okay, as a display of respect, obedience. There's that word again, obedience and loyalty. It was also a common occurrence in religious ceremonies. In those days, marriage and religion were intrinsically linked. That's a mouthful, and that's important. Let's read that again. knights back in medieval times, knights would get down on one knee in front of their lord, the ruler, God, as a display. So the Lord, the person in charge, is the word Lord is connected to, or I am your God, right? All right, so knights would get down on one knee in front of their lord as a display of respect, obedience, and loyalty. It was also a common occurrence in religious ceremonies. In those days, marriage and religion were intrinsically linked. So the person getting down on one knee must show obedience, submission to the person who is up. One person is down, the other person is up, yin yang. There are no accidents, people. No accidents. And listen, it doesn't take much to figure out that feminism has embraced this. This is all nonsense, as I said earlier. There are connections to everything. There are no accidents. Straight from source consciousness. I got this message. I was scolded on this when I let a girl go. Basically, to interrupt here for a little bit here, I'll say this. Everything you've been taught about challenges in relationships, it's not, you have to listen to your intuition. Otherwise you're screwed. You can make a serious mistake. Basically, you're going to have challenges. And when you encounter those challenges, you can't be listening to people like Kevin Samuels or Darius. You have to listen to your intuition. You're going to have interferences from other sources when you're looking at it only from one's perspective. So be careful. Let's continue. There's a picture of knights bowing down. So when a courteous gentleman, why is there an E here? It should be an A. Was proposing to his lady, pledging his allegiance to her and declaring his undying love for her, getting down on one knee was a natural thing to do. No, it wasn't natural. This was a tradition, and this never made sense to me. Now I know why. This is a setup. Prince Harry's appearance. Alright, what I'm going to do now is just type in do medieval. Let me type in medieval mates best keyword one me propose. All right, this is what prompted my impromptu video. The tradition of a man proposing on one knee comes from medieval knights bowing before their noblewoman. We just read earlier that it was bowing to the Lord. Now it's bowing to the noblewoman. Upon getting down on one knee, the proposer will ask their partner for their hand in marriage with the phrase, "Will you marry?" This is all twisted knowledge. All right, I will conclude here. I'm going to stop this video. I'm going to conclude here by saying that the vast majority, if not all, statespeople, politicians are not the gender they seem. They're not. If you've paid attention to enough of these actors, politicians, you know that they're the exact opposite. Their exact gender. I have to pay attention to the title here so that my channel doesn't get a strike. They love. Listen, I'll just create another channel anyway. You know, here's at this point, I'll say one thing here. If you want to be one of, is this thing? I don't even know this thing. The whole thing. Does this thing work? I'll stop here because I had the headphone in. I'm not even sure that this thing recorded any of this. I'll stop. Well, it's recording this part. Just be careful. I'll just stop here.